Our 46-page preparedness guidebook is your go-to guide to help you prepare for the unexpected. You can get this book with no purchase or obligation absolutely free. For more information, please visit us online at the7store.net. That's the7store.net. Or call us today at 888-654-3447. That's 888-654-3447.
Hey folks, Alex Jones here. I'm sending out a special alert to all those out there listening with credit card debt and struggling to make payments. I'm going to give you a very important phone number. Due to a declining economy and credit crisis, you now have the power to settle your debt and lower your payments by up to 60% or more by calling the Bailout Group. This program has already settled over $100 million of debt and are saving individual consumers thousands of dollars. Folks, if you are struggling with credit card debt and those excessive interest payments, the time is now to take advantage of this opportunity. Call the Bailout Group today at 1-800-324-6554. I hope our listeners take advantage of this. The call is free, and in 10 minutes they will show you how much you can save right over the phone with one simple call. Let the Bailout Group bail you out of debt, reduce your payments by up to 60%, and save you thousands of dollars today. That number again is 1-800-324-6554. 800-324-6554. The Bailout Group.
Spring is here, growing season. The economy is not getting any better. In fact, it's getting worse. Think about it. At this rate, how will your life be in a month or even a year? Maybe you've been putting things off, but the time to act is now. You need to get your seeds before it's too late. At OrganicaSeed.com, you'll find one of the largest online selections of heirloom seeds, survival seed packs, as well as the giant vegetable seed collections that can feed you and your family for years. Grow your very own fresh vegetables, wheatgrass, fruits, herbs, rice, tea, coffee, and tobacco. With detailed growing guides available to you at no charge, you can maximize your harvest and investment. And the best part? All orders ship within 24 hours. So head over to OrganicaSeed.com. That's ORGANICA seed.com. OrganicaSeed.com today.
All right, folks, I got a bunch of financial news and your phone calls and a ton of news I haven't gotten to coming up in the next hour. We're going to do a brief thing about CPS trying to steal people's kids. When the kid's already dying and doesn't want any more chemo, and they say, no, we're taking it and give them chemo until they kill them. Just amazing. And this goes with them trying to force inoculations on everybody. But I wanted to bring up Rachel Wimbish with Stuckel and Ferguson Law Firm, also doing research, Kim highly recommended. It's paulstuckel.com. Dealing with this type of activity. So I wanted to bring her up for a few minutes with what her advice is. We're getting different perspectives. Have you been filled in, Rachel, on this story? I'm sure you've heard it a million times.
Yes, and we deal with CPS and false allegations, parents being falsely accused of sexual abuse or physical abuse or neglect of their children, and we hear these sad stories every day, and it's a war against our families.
But you've got to feel good because you're doing good work. I don't know how these, well, I guess they have the highest turnover of any industry, 50+% I've read. I mean, how do these people do this? Break people's rights, lie, and then they're 5 times more likely to abuse children in CPS than anywhere else, according to Justice Department. Well, what would you advise them to do? Because they're not saying what they're, they strip searched their daughter, has a little bruise on her leg they saw with shorts. They strip searched her to try to find more. There was nothing more. It was a little bruise the size of maybe between a quarter and a nickel, clearly from a table. We've all had them. She told them that, and they said over and over again, no, your mommy did this. You're going to be in trouble if you don't say. She said, okay, my mommy did it. But she's on record saying then they took photos, laptop, didn't tell her, and let her go to gymnastics at the end of school, called her and said, come to your house. In my experience, they wanted to come in the house and dig up some dirt or say it was neglect or there was dishes or something. I mean, what would you do about this? I mean, they won't say what they want. She drove by her place where she was going to meet him. There was the cop car with the CPS. What does this sound like?
It sounds like they already have it in their head, which all of them do, the law enforcement and CPS. They always believe the child, and if the child doesn't tell them what they want to hear, then they will threaten and intimidate the child. They see it as the children are victims of abuse, and they're set out to prove it, regardless of any type of evidence or indicia to the contrary.
Now, let's be clear, though. Most police aren't involved. Don't they, from what I've seen, you're the expert, have little special pet police that are part of the psychosis, kind of like the Nazis, that will go out and violate people?
They do, and actually a lot of the advocacy centers where the CPS workers and the forensic interviewers are housed, there are detectives specially assigned to these child abuse cases, and so they work hand in hand with each other.
So they choose to be there because they like children so much. Okay, so where should they go from here, in your opinion?
Well, with the instance that you're talking about right now, it sounds to me like the family needs to have very strong and vigorous defense against CPS, because the child needs to be protected against the foster system. There's horrendous things that happen to these children when they're removed from a family and placed into oftentimes dangerous environments that are funded by the state. And the parents need to have legal representation to protect themselves against any criminal charges that may come forward, and also so they don't lose their family.
And then, and of course, the system has an incentive to defend these horrible warrens where they keep children, where they routinely die. We're back in 70 seconds. Stay there. I want to do 5 more minutes with you to get more advice. I mean, CPS wants to meet. They want to come to the house. Should they go back and stay at their house, say no, bring a warrant, or bring a protective order? Should they wait? Should they, I mean, what should they do? Your perspective on this as an expert who's, been involved in hundreds of these cases, attorney at law, Rachel Wimbish, with us as they try to kidnap young Haley out of our office. We'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Many human illnesses can be attributed to the fact that soil in the United States no longer provides plants with the mineral elements which are essential to human nourishment. Many studies have shown that the majority of Americans are deficient in minerals. Deficiency in any one of the more important minerals actually results in disease. Go to RawOrganicVeganSuperfoods.com today and see the wide range of foods available that are designed to help your mind and body work the way they were intended to. You can also visit the link on PrisonPlanet.com to see some of the amazing products available. Folks, you've got to try this. These foods promote nutritional excellence, health and well-being, beauty enhancement, and truly sustainable agriculture. Many foods today have herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, and insecticides that were not intended for human consumption. Go to RawOrganicVeganSuperfoods.com today and see some of the amazing products available. You are what you eat, so eat what your body needs. Remember to go to RawOrganicVeganSuperfoods.com today.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Coming up in the next segment, I'm going to give you the phone numbers to these wicked creatures. There are child kidnappers everywhere. Claim they have immunity, operating. Hitler, and I always hate to go back to Hitler, but Hitler operated under the same eugenics program that set up the family courts. He got it from the U.S. and England. And the first people they killed, the first people they put in death camps, the first people that they shut down were families. They say, oh, you're not fit to have your child. Oh, we're going to euthanize your child. Or, you get a letter back, oh, your child died in CPS custody. And then they put more than 2/3 of the kids on psychotropics. A lot of them die from the drugs they put them on. And then they go before the state in Texas and say they have bad gene pools. We have that on video in Endgame. Going back to Rachel Wimbish. Rachel, what do you think they should do then, hearing this? I mean, do they go, and I know you're not taking the case, you're just what you would do, if you had this case, would you go back home? Would you wait? Would you stay away? Would you have a lawyer contact the CPS and say, what is this about? How far have you gone? They wouldn't talk to me. They said, we'll talk to her or her lawyer. But when she then talks to them, they won't talk to her. They just say, come meet us, come meet us.
They don't need to do anything right now. They've already experienced how CPS works and where CPS is going with this. And if they don't have basis to remove the children, and there's not an emergency right now, CPS can't do anything, and so they do not need to cooperate. They need to have an independent defense